you're here, but nobody noticed it. I was doing everything for everybody, and then nobody really understand that I'm giving, but y'all taking, and nobody dare to give to me. Because that's the other reason I got to the point where I was. I started feeling very unwanted, like used and abused. I don't like being used. So now it's like God put me in a place where I can show that love and I get it back and people appreciate it.
Welcome to Unseen Atlanta, an Atlanta Mission podcast, where we shine the light on some of the city's toughest issues. We are sharing true stories from real people who are facing homelessness and addiction. We're also going to share insights from experts who are going to give us some context to those issues. I'll be your host, Rachel Reynolds.
And I'm Jonathan Miller, your co-host. So Rachel, today we're going to be sharing Quena's story. You'll just hear a story where so much was taken from her, but she found restoration, she found redemption, and that's what you're going to hear today.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy.
Let's dive in.
So tell us a little bit about you growing up.
Well, I grew up with my great-grandparents. They got me when I was 7 days old.
What happened with that?
From what I heard was, I think my mother was on alcohol bad, and my daddy was doing drugs, and they left me in the house. So my granddad wanted to see the baby. When they got there, the baby was there, which is me, was there by herself, saw a diaper and just crying. So they packed the baby up and took her home. And I was there the whole time with my oldest sister.
So your older sister and you were raised by your grandparents?
Yeah, my great-grandparents.
Your great-grandparents?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your childhood like?
It was amazing because I was a spoiled brat. My great-granddaddy.
So you lived up to your name.
Yes. Even though at first I didn't know my name, I was a little bit.
You were a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, that's what they called you?
Yes.
What, were you small?
They said when I was there, I was real little. They kept me in the drawer, like the nightstand drawer. Yeah. I was so little. So that was my little name. So, yeah.
So how many of you lived in the house?
It was me, my oldest sister, and my 3 cousins, and my great-grandparents.
And they raised all of you guys?
Yes, because my cousin mom had died a year before I was born. So at first my cousin mom them had me, and then when she died, we all went there.
Was your mom in the picture at all when you were growing up?
Yeah, she was there. She called constantly. She came over. She would bring us like food stamps and stuff. And I just was at the point where I thought she didn't want me. So I couldn't accept that from her. I would never call her mother. I just called her by her name, Sue. When she was on her deathbed, she called one day and she was like, "Is this my baby, Quena?" Like, "This her?" She was like, "How you do?" She asked how I was doing. I said, "Fine, how are you?" She said, "I do better as my baby called me mama at least once." So I'm like, "Okay, hey mama, how are you?" So that's the only time I called her that.
How did that feel to call her mom?
Weird.
Yeah, not
because I knew it wasn't real. So, maybe I say 2 months later, she died.
So did you feel very abandoned by her?
Yes. I felt abandoned by her. I didn't really think about my daddy at that moment. It was just my mother for some reason. I guess because she was more in the picture. And my sister told me stories that she just don't want me. That's why.
So a lot happened between growing up and where you are now. I'm assuming a lot happened.
Yes, it did.
So let's talk about some of the points along the way. So did you move out of your grandparents' house?
Yeah, when I turned 13, my grandma, I guess she had Alzheimer's. So she started acting weird. She would wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and tell me to sweep in the kitchen, and I'll go sweep, and then she would say it's still there. So she started hitting me. And she was doing it one day, and my hand brushed across her, and she told her family, her kids, that I hit her. So they start threatening me and telling what they would do to me. So my oldest sister already moved out, so she came and got me, and I ended up moving with her.
And you were 13?
Yes.
How old was she?
My sister, I think she was 18, 19, somewhere in there.
So you guys were still just kids?
Yes.
Living on your own?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was okay because she had kids.
She had already had kids. Okay.
Yes, so I kept her kids. I didn't go to school. I just sat at the house all day while she worked and came back and forth. And I go visit my granddaddy. And then my mom died.
So you would watch her kids for her. Mm-hmm. So you dropped out of school.
Yes. Then my grandma died. So I felt bad because the reason my sister told me that my grandma died was because I had left out her house one day, my sister's house, and I was trying to get back home. I called my granddad to pick me up. And my grandma answered the phone, like, no, he's not coming to get you. So I sent some guys from school, and they were like, I can take you home. But they didn't take me home. They decided to take me to their house, and they kind of took advantage of me. They raped me, and I never told nobody. So when I went home, finally got home, my grandma had a heart attack, and my sister told me that it was because she worried about me all night because they didn't know where I was. So that bothered me for a long time because I thought it was the cause of it.
So you got taken advantage of by these guys.
Yes.
How old were you then?
I was 13, getting ready to go on 14.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right in the same thing. A lot happened. And then I said my grandma died, then my mama died. And then that's when I realized that the story I heard about my mother wasn't true. So we went to her funeral. My sister and my siblings was in front. And my sister was like, no, we don't sit in the back because she didn't want us. So she had my aunt, she wrote a poem or a letter to her kids. And in the letter it said that she wasn't stable. She was on alcohol very bad. My daddy was on drugs. And she didn't feel there was a place for children. So she gave all her kids to the grandparents because she knew it would be well taken care of. But she loved us very much. And that made me feel bad because I hated her all that time for no reason. So I never got that relationship with her.
Did it make you feel good to hear that she loved you?
It did. And sad because at that time I didn't really love her.
Yeah.
So it made me just really think about a lot, like the things I could have been doing with her. Because my siblings used to tell me stuff about her, like she loved turtle and this and that. And I'm like, okay, I know none of that. I didn't even know her birthday. So like on her birthdays and stuff, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because I never did that with her.
It's like you were robbed of a mom.
Yeah. I had one memory of her in my 5th grade graduation. I didn't think about it because my grandparents didn't do that. So when I was on the stage going up to sit down, I heard, that's my baby Quena. I'm like, okay, who calling my name? And she was right down the front row. So that's the one good memory I have of her.
How'd you feel when you heard that?
Great.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think nobody would be there.
Okay, so you're 13 and all that happens. Then what's next?
We had a house fire at my sister's apartment.
Okay.
So me and her kids moved with this lady that my cousin knew. And we were there. Of course, I still wasn't going to school because I was keeping the kids. And the lady thought that my sister getting food stamps or a check, so she called defects. And when they came to the house, they asked me questions like, why are you not at school? I'm like, I keep my sister's kids. I'm like, so where's your mother? I told her she's deceased. They were like, so who has guardian of you? I'm like, where's guardian? So I told them where I grew up at. So they called my great-granddaddy. He was like, I don't know nothing about that. So they took it as that I didn't have no guardianship over me. So they took me and the kids to foster care. So I ended up in a group home until I was 17.
And then what happened when you were 17?
I left. They told me I could leave when I was 17. So instead of going to school that day, I left. And I went and stayed with my boyfriend for a minute. And I was still in school, but then my granddad called and said that my sister's kids were about to get took and go to foster care. So I had to make a decision, either my nephews or be finishing school. I chose my nephews because I just went through that. So I moved back in with my granddaddy for a minute, and I took care of the kids.
Wow.
Then I moved back with my boyfriend, and we got into it. I had my nephew, and we got into it. He tried to kill me. And his mama took me to my sister's house.
His mom did? Mm-hmm. Because you were in danger?
No, because one of my exes was right there too, and he seen it, and he came to save me. And she told me I need to get a restraining order against my ex. And I was like, why would I do that? He saved me. Your son was trying to kill me. And she was like, either you do it or I'm going to take you to shelter. So I was like, well, I'm not doing that. So she brought me to my sister's house.
So what year were you at my sister's house?
Like 1998.
Before our time.
Before my time,
Yes.
for sure.
What was that experience like? So you were with your nephew.
So it was different because I had never been basically away from my family like that. I met another little girl that was named Quena.
Oh.
And my nephew and the little girl got close. They had like the families that'll come in and adopt the kids and have Christmas for them and bring them stuff. I stayed maybe 5 months. Then I met a guy and I left, me and my nephew. And I moved back with my granddaddy. And I started working at the airport. And I worked there for a while, just living a regular life.
For a little while?
Then I moved again, started working at Crystal's. I met a person, and I got with my sister, my baby sister, because she was having issues. My granddaddy, my mother and daddy had put her out because she became pregnant. And I went and got her and had her come stay where I was at. And she had the baby.
So what brought you to Restoration House?
A lot of my family started dying more. Everybody I was close to. Like my siblings wasn't close. We wasn't close anymore. And I started taking grief on in a different way.
Okay.
I started doing drugs and drinking.
Was this the first time you'd ever done that?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was introduced to drugs. At first it was just like to mellow me out when I was drunk. And then I got fibroids. And the pain used to be ridiculous. And I had did powder one day and noticed it numbed the pain. So that was my excuse then. Then when people started dying, like my brother got killed in 2019, I used that and it took the pain away. So it became more and more of a habit of doing it. Then my granddad died. And that was a big one because that was my world. So I just used it as a way to cope with everything. So I got to the point where I would work at IHOP in 2023. And I was staying at the rundown, I don't know what it was, it's a room, but it was real dangerous there. Like they were shooting inside the building and everything. So I was working, I lost my job, then I lost where I was staying at. So I was still doing drugs. I walked the street for about maybe 2 weeks, back and forth. I was staying back and forth at the IHOP because my sister worked there. So I was staying there. And I just walked the street. And then my sister finally told this pastor about my situation. They used to come in there all the time. He was like, can you call her and tell her we want to help her? So I came up there. He had a meeting with me. He was like, God told me to ask you, are you ready now? Are you tired? I'm like, huh? He was like, are you tired? I'm like, yes, I'm tired. He said, no, are you really tired? So I started crying. He said, yeah, you're tired now. He said, God have a message for you. I said, okay. He said, what he wants you to do is, he wants you to stop doing drugs. No more backsliding. No more making excuses. I'm like, wait a minute, I never told this man this.
Yeah, you're like, this is weird.
Yeah, and he was like, he needs you to read Psalms 91 for 5 weeks straight. And he needs you to go to my sister's house. I said, which one of my sisters? He said, no. It's a shelter. Call my sister's house. I need you to go there. I'm like, okay. And then he was like, if you have 4 people that's praying for your downfall and one that's on your side. I'm like, huh? He said, your siblings, they're all praying for your downfall except one, Victoria. That's my older sister, one I grew up with. He was like, she's praying for you so hard. But you have 4 people that's praying for your downfall so bad. And he started naming my siblings. And I'm like, I never told you that either. I'm like...
You're like, where did this guy come from? Is he a nut job?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this really got to be God.
Yeah.
Like, it's no way.
Well, I'm glad you thought that. I would have thought a nut job.
I did at first, but then I'm like, no, it got to be God. And he was like, God said that you keep promising that you're going to stop doing drugs, and then you backslide. And that's where I really knew it God, because I always did that. So he was like, go clean your face, we'll have breakfast, we'll go from there. So he took me downtown. He thought that was my sister's house was at. And I walked around downtown looking. Couldn't figure out where it was. I ended up at Gateway. And I couldn't get into a shelter there because I had been living in DeKalb County. They said that was Atlanta. So they gave me a list of places. So I seen Restoration House on there. So I went to my friend's house the night before. And he was like, I'll take you early in the morning. So I went to Restoration House. And it was like 8 of us. And it was like only 4 or 5 beds. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to get in here. So they were like, don't leave. Some people may not get in. So at the last moment, they were like, you can come in. So I interviewed with Miss Daphne, and she was like, you're in. Now, before I did that, I read everything inside Resurrection, all the prayers on the walls and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so she said I got in, I turned to my left, and right on the wall was Psalms 91. Wow. It's like it just lit up. And I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. Mm. So, but I didn't know there was a gateway to my sister's house until I talked to my
you didn't? You didn't even know they were connected?
No. I talked to my ambassador, Miss Cheryl, and she was like, do you want to go to my sister's house or what do you want to do? I said, my sister's house. What they got to do anything? She's like, you stay here for 30 days, then you're over there. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that's wild. But yeah, so that's how I ended up at my sister's house.
How did it feel like dots start to connect? You see the verse on the wall, you hear about my sister's house. Hey, that's where I've been trying to go.
I felt that God was really right there with me. Yeah. That I got somebody really looking over and praying for me. That it was a big change for my life. It felt amazing though, because at the Restoration House, it was a different scene. I met new friends. The staff was amazing. I don't know. It was just different. Yeah. I felt very loved there. Good.
So you get to my sister's house. Mm-hmm. What was your experience like there?
Well, at first, I'm stubborn. So that's one thing they did to me. I'm very arrogant. I have a lot of pride. So I had to change that. But at first when I got there, me and my advocate used to go back and forth because I'm in the recovery track.
Okay.
And I felt that I could do it on my own.
Yeah.
She kept telling me I had to go to meetings, and I didn't like the meetings. They were like, to me, they're depressing. So I'm like, I don't want to go there. She's like, you have to go. I'm like, I'm not doing it. So we just used to go back and forth all the time. But then eventually I got to the point where I learned that it's in my best interest. And she used to ask me, what is your problem with me? I said, I don't have a problem. It's just that you tell me to do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Just really, pay attention. I really got you. So I started going to the meetings. I went to counseling, and that really helped. Miss Kimberly, she's amazing. She talked to me. We talked about my mother. She told me how to handle that, because it was like, she said I had a whole lot of repressed anger, and that was my problem. And once I started talking, I wrote letters to my mother, to my grandma, and all of them, and it helped. It released a lot.
What kind of things, if you don't mind sharing, what kind of things did you write in your letter to your mom?
I told her how I wish I got to know her better. I didn't have that little grudge against her. If we would actually just sit and talk, I would have had a better experience with her. I wish I would have known her birthday, her favorite color, her favorite food. Just if I'm like her or my daddy. It was like everything I just needed to know from her. If my life would have been different if she was in it. Just anything a child would want to know their mother. So that made me, and I apologized to her.
For what?
Hated her. Yeah, I hated her a while. Just wanted to know her, that's all. So, and I told her, I put in there that my siblings, they told me a lot about her. I noticed I favor her. It was just me talking from my heart to her. I made her know that I do love her and I miss her. And that's all. Just talking to her. And I wrote letters to her constantly after that, just telling her things going on in my life, how I felt at the place I was at, how I understood that what she was going through at the time.
Yeah, it seems like that one decision that she made to leave you there when you were 7 days really changed a lot.
Yes.
The trajectory of your life, it seems like.
It did. But then I also told her that my great-grandparents was great, especially my granddaddy, because, like I said, I was spoiled. Whatever, a little bit wanted, a little bit got. They called me bougie because I was the kind of person that didn't eat bologna. I wanted ham, stuff like that. So I told her that you chose the right people to basically give me to.
Yeah.
So I was okay. I had a good life.
So did you go through the Next Steps program?
Yes.
How was that?
It was great. At first it wasn't because I didn't want to get in a circle. I'm very shy.
Yeah, I mean, the circle's intimidating.
It is. So I used to pray.
I don't want to get in the circle.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go. So Mr. Green, he called me. Like the first time he called me, it was the day before I actually said I was going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
So I was nervous. I was shaking. It's like I did okay. It wasn't. They couldn't hear me. The song I sung. The only reason I got through the song was because of Miss. I forgot her name.
Miss Simone?
Yes, I knew it was with an S.
That's okay.
And she was singing it with me and looking at me smiling, and that gave me encouragement that I was doing good. So yeah, the end of it, the graduation, how you get SOE. They talked to me about something different. Mr. Green was like, I want to do something different with you because I noticed that you don't project yourself. It's like you hold back a lot, and I think it was because of your mouth. He was like, so...
Your mouth?
Yeah, because I didn't have any teeth.
Oh, okay.
And he knew
but you have beautiful teeth right now.
Yes. So he suggested that I go to Mercy Care and talk to them. So I went there, and they had me write 2 essays about my life and how I got to the predicament I was in and what would I do within the time to better myself if they granted me to get dentures. So I got approved. I went and got them. And because they also felt that getting a job, I feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And the people wouldn't really judge me if I had it.
You're too pretty to not have teeth.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah. So
how do they feel?
At first, they didn't feel right. But now, I'm good. They feel like a part of me.
So. Do you feel more confident?
Yes. So I do. I smile a lot.
Yeah. You have a gorgeous smile.
You do.
Thank you. So first, it didn't feel right. So I'm like, this in my mouth. It felt like, I don't know, it felt like I was just holding on to a block inside my mouth. So,
So you got a job?
Yes. I work at Popeyes. They're amazing. They adopted me from like the second day because they said I was a fast learner.
Yeah.
And they argue about me. Like my main manager, she was like, that's my girl. And like I had caught pneumonia like the second week I was there. So I was out for a whole week. And they checked on me constantly. They made sure I was okay. She talked to the GM about me all the time. So my Miss Queen need to come back. My Miss Queen need to come back. Because they call me Miss Queen. So I came back. He was like, I'm so happy you're back because she been talking about you the whole darn time. So I was worried about her. She was real sick. I just feel a lot of love there. Like, my birthday is coming up on Saturday. And so one of my managers, she was like, she's going to buy me an air fryer. I'm like, no, what else do you want? I'm like, okay, I've only been here like 2.5 months.
They love you.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's so special.
It
is. I feel very special this year on my birthday.
I mean, when we talk about like community, I think we don't often think about like our workplace becomes our community, right?
It is.
Like us.
Yeah, we work together.
The 2 best friends there ever were.
But yeah, I feel very included in everything.
Good. Well, what does the future look like for you?
I want to get my own place. I want a baby. Not sure about that, but that's what I want.
You want to be a mom?
Yes, I do. But I'm not sure it's in my future or not.
You know, that strikes me because when you have shared your story, the thing that sticks out to me is that you're a caretaker.
You are.
You love people. You love your people.
I have basically raised all my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Especially
Sounds
one
like it.
in particular. Before my brother died, he had a son. And He gave me the baby when the baby was 7 days old. Amazing, the same age I was. But yeah, because they had a situation going on, they had no water and stuff. So I came, and he told his baby mama to give me the baby. He was like, the whole? I'm like, no. She's going to take the baby with her. And I kept the baby till he was 7 days old. And his birthday, like 5 days after mine. So that's my little heart. So I have always been there to help take care of my nieces and nephews and stuff. So
Yeah, you have a lot of love to give.
yeah, so it's like I just want that baby where they can't take it from me.
Yeah, because you've had a lot of stuff taken from you.
Yes.
That's what kind of strikes me about your story is you had your childhood taken from you. You had your mom taken from you. You had so much taken from you, but you have so much life and so much
So much to give.
Yeah, so much to give for someone who's gotten a lot taken away. You could have been in a much different space, but you have such a bright future, and you're going to give a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay. I try.
You're going to be the queen in a lot of people's lives.
That's the plan.
Yes.
Well, I want to ask one last question. Going back to your story, as you're thinking through your life, a lot of points, it's easy to say, I felt unseen, right? Mm-hmm. Could you just share with us, what is it like to feel unseen?
It's not good. It make you feel basically unwanted, unloved, that you're here, but nobody noticed it. And that's how I always felt, that I was doing everything for everybody, and then nobody really understand that I'm giving, but y'all taking, and nobody dare to give to me. So it's like now I see the giving back to me, and I like that. It's a real better feeling, because that's the other reason I got to the point where I started feeling very unwanted, like used and abused. I don't like being used. So now it's like God put me in a place where I can show that love, and I get it back, and people appreciate it. So I'd rather have it that way. That's why in the future I want to be an addiction counselor. That's my goal right now. I think I went through what I went through to help somebody else. And I always know I'm the kind of person that can give people advice, help them through things. And so at first I thought it was just counseling. And then I talked to my counselor, and she was like, I can see you as that, an advocate, addiction counselor, because you just have that giving part of you. So, so I see that part.
Wow.
So that's my goal.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today.
You're welcome.
That was amazing. I feel like you have such a warm energy, and you just have so much love, and you didn't get a lot of love. So you really have
Defied all of that.
Yeah. Which is so amazing.
It is
so
amazing.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
I hope that you all enjoyed listening to Quena's story, and that you take your own Quena energy into the world. But I think we just learned so much about how you can experience these feelings of abandonment, these feelings of not feeling loved, but that doesn't have to define you. Because obviously Quena's always had that within her, and now she's able to go and give that into the world. We hope you've really enjoyed that. I know we did. I feel like I got so much out of what it's actually like being homeless, and then what it's like walking through our doors. And we want to talk today to someone who I love. We all love here at Atlanta Mission. She's been here a long time, and I'll have her introduce herself, but it's Telicia Maxwell. She is the director over at my sister's house. So thanks for being here, Telicia.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes,
Super
we're so
excited.
happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about kind of what you've done here at the mission and how you got into your current role.
Yeah, it's been a journey. So I joined the mission in 2017 in human resources. That was my formal education. But if anybody's ever worked at the mission, we know how God works things out and makes you do a pivot in your life. And so I remember during my first interview, it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I was like, I'm going to have your job as the head of director. God said, that's cute. I have a different idea for you. But I became a little burnt out just with HR. Having worked in the field for about 15 years, it's just like, like, okay, I need to do something different here. And had the opportunity to join our vocational program as the head trainer and did that for a little while. And God was like, that's cool. You're doing really good there. I need you to go do something else. So I moved over to our client-facing side as a services leader. And honestly, that's where I really felt like God was using my gifts to really, really be helpful. And then through all that work, became the campus director, and I've been in that role for 2 years now. So it's been
She's
really
killing
fun.
it.
Right.
It's been a fun transition to see, like, going from HR and being so employee focused to now being primarily client focused.
Yeah.
You have such a holistic view of the mission, which I think helps you do your job so well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an advocate for the people, right?
Yes.
It looks different on either end, but the end goal is to make sure people are happy and getting the services or the support that they need to be able to succeed professionally or in their personal journeys. So.
Telicia, our clients, as they're sharing their stories, they're talking about Restoration House. I was at Restoration House. Then I went to my sister's house.
Yeah.
And for our listeners who aren't super familiar with Atlanta Mission and how we work, can you connect the dots? What is Restoration House? How is it different from my sister's house?
Is it actually their sister's house?
Yeah. What's the deal here?
Right. So I would say look at it as a townhome. So Restoration House is our front door to our program. And so when ladies come there, we are just loving them. We want to provide them a safe space to be able to just relax for a minute. If you think about anybody's journey, or if you know anybody who's actually gone through homelessness, you need a time to just breathe. You don't necessarily have all the answers. You don't know. You just know I need to come inside. And so that's what Restoration serves as. And it allows us the opportunity to start getting to know a little bit of their story. We're not doing a deep dive, but just what brought you in? What's happening? What do you need? How can we love you? Take out your basic needs. We got you covered. What can we do beyond that? And so the ladies have about 30 to 45 days to kind of just sit and talk to staff there, like, what do you want to do? Mm-hmm. What is the change that you want to make? Some opt for just short term. Some come in, I just need housing. That's all I really feel I need. Then we have others who are like, you know what? I do need this moment in time. And it's just some bigger things that I, in my own power, have not been able to deal with. And I need that support. And so when they make that decision, they come on across the hallway to my sister's house. So fun fact about my sister's house, because we do serve women and children and we want to take that stigma off our kids, we don't want to say they're at a shelter. So that's why my sister's house was named that way. So if a kid's like, where do you live at? My sister's house.
Yeah.
It's much easier for a kid,
intentionally
right?
confusing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We love confusion.
We love
Absolutely. It's a thing. It's a thing. And so when they come to my sister's house, that's when I say the real work begins for them, because that's our longer term part of our program. So they can be anywhere from 6 months to a year with us, just working on things. They get to create their own plans. What is it you want to work on? And that's where the staff begin to surround them, create a plan, an outlook, life plan, if you want to call that, some goals we want to achieve to really start attacking the things that they feel that has not allowed them to be successful in their life journey. So
so they spend the first 30 days.
Yeah, 30 to 45.
30 to 45 days at Restoration House. Then they, about 3 blocks away.
Yeah, it's walking distance.
It is in walking distance. They go over to my sister's house.
Across the hall.
Across the hall, yeah.
So you're not seeing people necessarily like come in right off the street.
No.
So what kind of like mental state are they in when they've moved over to, because there's probably a different type of mental state because now they're committing to something.
Absolutely. So with the Restoration House, I almost feel like they kind of triage and stabilize our ladies. So we don't get the rawest version of them. It's still raw, but not the rawest. And so there's a little bit of trust that they've built there. So it is a step of faith because it's a whole new team. They're having a whole new building, a whole new team that they're having to adapt to. So there's still some hesitation because it's like, I don't know y'all, y'all don't know me.
Right.
I haven't spent the last 40 days with you all. So there is some level of learning, but the biggest thing is allowing them to create hope in them that they can do this. And so whether it's been abuse, childhood trauma, depression, life just happened. They need people that believe in them and have that space where I'm saying these things out loud. I don't want to sound crazy, but this is my reality, right? And so a lot of it is just, again, creating a safe space for them to be like, listen, we're trained. So whatever you need to go through it here, go through it now. This is your safety net. And so you still have individuals who are dealing with levels of mental health. It looks different. But that's when they're partnered with their services team, their advocate, their counselor, and their social worker to have that direct support team to start addressing some of those things. So some of our ladies are undiagnosed.
Yeah.
But through conversations, we determine like, okay, we probably need to get a mental health assessment because what you're believing is happening evolving might be out of your control, and
Yeah.
it's just something you've just never addressed, or you've labeled it something differently. And so you've built all these coping skills around how you believe you can handle it. Well, maybe some counseling, maybe medication might be the thing that will actually change your trajectory. And so our biggest emotional state, I would say, is just starting to cultivate trust and know that we're not here to harm them.
Yeah.
We want to only bring out the good to them, and that it's a safe place to fall apart, to be rebuilt.
What's the biggest, trust is such a key piece of this. What's the biggest way your team builds trust with clients? How does that happen?
Honestly, I would say being who we are. Letting people see who we are, sharing some of our story. Like a lot of the ladies, because they're like campus director, it's the principal's office. But it's just knowing how to share our stories. So it's like we're all just humans at the end of the day. My title doesn't drive my life experience. It's something I'm blessed to do and privileged to do, but there's a story before that. And so, like for myself, I was a young mom. I had heard my first child at 21. A lot of you like, well, you have a 23-year-old? Yeah, I have a 23-year-old son. I was a young mom. I wasn't prepared. I had a great community behind me that allowed me to be able to grow up myself and also make sure that my child got everything that they needed. And so being able to have just those vulnerable moments so they can just see who we are as people versus our titles or our expertise, and then marry the two together. So I understand what you've gone through, but these are the things why we talk about community, why we believe recovery is important, just kind of start infusing those resources into real life stories.
I think that's what's so interesting about the work we do. I think in the for-profit sector, you go to work and you can be whoever you want to be at work. And then you're your person at home. And we talk a lot about on our team of like being one-faced. We really have to be one-faced at the work we do because we're not allowed to come to work here and not show up with vulnerability. So can you talk a little bit about, because like you worked in HR and then now you're doing this. And so what is it like having to just bring all that stuff into your workplace?
It's different. I will say that's probably the biggest fear for me working at the mission, because we do work different. And even in the HR space, it's just different. And I think that's what makes us great is we're allowed to be human and look at people for who they are, not for the persona we want them to be or the productivity, the work that they do, because people are human. People deal with things every day, staff included. And so I think being able to be vulnerable in this space actually lends to the work that we do, because it is building connections, whether it's peer-to-peer, staff to client, whatever that looks like, it deepens the relationship. And I think it takes away for clients. They now start to understand it's not just a job for us. Like we really, really love coming in and serving. We don't call it work. We don't call it a job. It's serving, because somebody in our life served us for us to be able to be in this position. And so being vulnerable it's scary, because it's almost sometimes you might arm a client with something about you, but I'm like, being faith-based, if we believe God has delivered, there's nothing about me that I need to hide or that you can use to hurt me. And if that's kind of the angle you want, that's still okay. I can still love you through it. But it's what makes the difference between us being employees versus being servants.
Can you talk a little bit about what we do for kids at my sister's house?
Yes, all my babies. I love my babies. We have a whole lot of babies right now.
I know. We've had a baby boom.
Yeah, we have... we've had 7 newborns thus far. We have, I say 6 in the wings. But for children, we have the same level of support. We have a services team that serves them. We've been blessed to become licensed in our early child care facility. And so just as much as we present the best opportunities for our moms to be transformed, because kids go through the journey as well. And so kids are not immune to what mom is experiencing. They've seen things, they've heard things, they've experienced things themselves. And so we have a complete children's services team that also supports the transformation for our kids as well. And so we have a counselor, we have a social worker, they interface with the school systems, we have a family services leader, a child care director, and so they work very well to make sure that while mom is healing herself, the children also have the opportunity not just to heal, because our children come to us, they're behind in education because they've been transient, they haven't had stability, and so they partner with the school systems. We have great community partners that bring resources resources in to make sure by the time our kids leave, they're at grade level. And so that's really critical because, again, with the school system, it's hard. And our kids, sometimes they get teased because of the things they've gone through. They don't have a name for why they're reading letters backwards. They don't understand all the clinical terms. They just need help. And so the beautiful thing is that while mom's getting the help, our children also get the same level of support and care.
I think that's my favorite thing about the work that we do. Yeah. Because for so many of these kids, they didn't choose this. No. It wasn't their decisions that were made. It wasn't, everything has happened to them. Yeah. And so for Mia, when I walk onto our campus, especially my sister's house, you feel this light and joy that only kids can bring, but you also feel this hope that the cycle ends here.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do, break the cycle and for our kids create normalcy, right? And I think we do a beautiful thing like holidays. We're in the Christmas holiday season. It's the outpouring from our partners. Just moms are able to give kids gifts on Christmas morning, right? And they don't have to worry about the money, the thing, but it's creating those moments so when they reflect on their time, one, I say for moms is you're resilient because you're showing your children a different way and that it's okay to ask for help when you don't have it. But they're also seeing you thrive. And when they see you thrive, kids are happier because our kids feed off our moms.
They do.
When mom is not in a good place, kids are not in a good place. So to be able to create an environment that's love, warm, the moms know that our staff is going to care and love for our kids, it's just a beautiful thing to see because ultimately, that's the generation that we're really trying to change is our children. Yeah. And so when they're happy and good and thriving, like all is right in the world, right? Because just because this was your story coming in, you don't have to leave the same way that you came in. So I think that's really a cool part. And I love the babies.
I mean,
babies just make me happy. So.
Doesn't love babies.
If you ever have a bad day at the mission, everyone always just says, walk down the child care hall.
Please. Especially the infant room. They're so cute. They're so cute.
I can't even. I know.
Like how she has them set up now. They're like little students in their little bouncies, and there's like 4 newborns right now.
It's such an amazing, I think that it's such a differentiator for the services that we provide. It's the first step in breaking that generational, those generational poverty. So thank you so much, Telicia, for being here today. I feel like I got so much insight and, the ladies are so lucky to have you.
They might say that today. Maybe not.
It's okay. Everyone that we've talked to has really felt that love, felt that safety, and I know so much of that comes from your leadership. So I just want to say thank you so much for all the work you're doing. You're a beloved member of the Atlanta Mission community, and we really hope that you guys got more insight from Telicia into what happens at my sister's house and all the amazing work that she is doing over there. And we hope to see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening and engaging with these challenging yet vital conversations about mental health, addiction, homelessness, and trauma in our city. Facing these issues head-on is how we ignite real transformation in Atlanta.
Thank you to our season sponsor, the Scott Pryor Law Group. The transformation you've heard wouldn't be possible without incredible partners like the Scott Pryor Law Group, personal injury and accident attorneys. Their compassion and dedication to our community fuel stories of transformation just like these. If you are injured in a semi-truck or car accident, call the Scott Pryor Law Group. As a U.S. Marine, we fight and win for you. Our clients are family for life. We handle all types of injuries. You focus on healing, and we handle the rest.
Now, if today's episode inspired you to take the next step, we would love to invite you to join the work that God is doing here. There are 2 really impactful ways for you to get involved. First, you can give financially to help us continue the work you heard about today. Second, you can volunteer your time by serving at one of our campuses. You can find all the ways to give and get involved at atlantamission.org. Thank you again for being part of this journey. Please join us next time as we uncover more powerful stories of hope and transformation.